We are the Group 3 and we are going to discuss our assigned topic, which is Republic Act 9520. So Republic Act 9520 is an act amending the Cooperative Code of the Philippines to be known as the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008. So in Chapter 1, General Concepts and Principles, the declared policy of the state to foster the creation and growth of cooperatives as a practical vehicle for promoting self-reliance and harnessing people power towards the attainment of economic development and social justice. A cooperative is an autonomous and duly registered association of persons with a common band of interest. The cooperative principles are voluntary and open membership, democratic member control, member economic participation, autonomy and independence, education, training and information, cooperation among cooperatives, and concern for community. And in Chapter 2, Organization and Registration, so the purposes of cooperatives are to encourage thrift and savings to the members, to generate funds and extend credit to the members, to provide goods and services, to develop expertise and skills, to acquire lands and provide housing, to promote and advance the economic, social, and educational status. In organizing a primary cooperative, 15 or more natural persons who are Filipino citizens of legal age having a common band of interest and are actually residing or working in the intended area of operation may organize a primary cooperative under this code. In economic survey, every group of individuals or cooperatives intending to form a cooperative under this code shall submit to the authority a general statement describing, among others, the structure and purposes of the proposed cooperative. A cooperative duly registered under this code shall have limited liability. A cooperative shall exist for a period not exceeding 50 years from the date of registration unless sooner dissolved or unless said period is extended. In registration, a cooperative formed and organized under this code acquires juridical personality from the date the authority issues a certificate of registration under its official seal. Certificate of registration. A certificate of registration issued by the authority under its official seal shall be conclusive evidence that the cooperative therein mentioned is duly registered.
Hello everyone, I am Abigail Abonitaria. So my topic is about the merger and consolidation of cooperatives. So there are one or two or more cooperatives may merge into a single cooperative, which shall either be one of the constituent cooperatives or the consolidated cooperative. So there are types and categories of cooperatives. 1. The credit cooperative, consumers cooperative, producer cooperative, marketing cooperative, service cooperative, multipurpose cooperative, advocacy cooperative, agrarian reform cooperative, cooperative bank, dairy cooperative, education cooperative, electric cooperative, financial service cooperative, fisherman cooperative, health services cooperative, housing cooperative, insurance co-op, transport co-op, water service co-op, workers cooperative, and other types of cooperative as may be determined by the authority. Cooperative unions, it is registered cooperatives and federations at the appropriate levels may organize or join cooperative unions to represent the interests and welfare of all types of cooperatives at the provincial, city, regional, and national levels. Chapter 3, Membership. Kinds of membership. A cooperative may have two kinds of members to it. 1. Regular members and 2. Associate members. Government officers and employees. Any officer or employee of the authority shall be disqualified to be elected or appointed to any position in a cooperative. Application. An applicant for membership shall be deemed a member after approval of his membership by the Board of Directors. Liability of members. A member shall be liable for debts of the cooperative to the extent of his contribution to the share capital of the cooperative. Termination of membership. A member of a cooperative may, for any valid reason, withdraw his membership from the cooperative by giving 60 days notice to the board of directors. The death of insanity of a member in a primary cooperative and the insolvency or dissolution of a member in a secondary or tertiary cooperative may be considered valid grounds for termination of membership. Membership in a cooperative may be terminated by a vote of the majority of all the members of the board of directors.
Good day, sir. I am Edgardo Baclado Jr. This is my assigned topic. It's all about the chapter 4, administration. First meeting. A regular meeting shall be held annually by the General Assembly on a date fixed in the bylaws, or if not so fixed, on any dated within 90 days after the close of each fiscal year. Whenever necessary, a special meeting of the General Assembly may be called at any time by majority vote of the Board of Directors as a provided voting system. Each member of the primary cooperative shall have only one vote. In the case of members of secondary or tertiary cooperatives, they shall have one basic vote and as many incentive votes as provided for in the bylaws, but not exceed 5 votes. Board of Directors, which shall be composed of not less than 5 more than 15 members elected by the General Assembly for a term of 2 years. Power of the Board of Directors. The Board of Directors shall be responsible for the strategic planning, direction setting, and policy formulation activities of the cooperative officer of the cooperative. The Board of Directors shall elect from among themselves the chairperson and vice chairperson, and elect of or appoint other officer of the cooperative from outside of the board. First is removal. All compliance for the removal of any elected officer shall be filed with the Board of Directors. And third, Chapter 5, Responsibility, Right, and Privilege of Cooperative Address. Every cooperative shall have an official postal address to which all notice and communication shall be sent, book to be kept and open. Every cooperative shall have the following documents ready and accessible to each member and representatives of the authority of the inspection during the reasonable office hours at its official address. Next is report. Every cooperative shall draw up regular report of its program of activities, including those in enforcement of their socio-civic undertaking, showing their progress and achievement at the end of every fiscal year. Every cooperative shall draw up regular reports of its program of activities, including those in pursuance of their socio-civic undertaking, show their progress and achievement at the end of every fiscal year. Tax treatment at cooperative. The leader registered the cooperative under the code which is do not transact any business with non-member or the general public shall not be subject to any so duly registered the cooperative under this code which do not transact any business will not members or the general public shall be not subject to any taxes and fees imposed under the internal revenue laws and other tax laws. And the next is tax and other exemption. Cooperative transaction business with both members and non-members shall not be subjected to tax on their transaction with members. Thank you.
Chapter 6: Insolvency of Cooperatives. Proceeding upon insolvency. In case a cooperative is unable to fulfill its obligations to creditors due to insolvency, such cooperative may apply for such remedies as it may deem fit under the provisions of Act Number 1956. Chapter 7: Dissolutions of Cooperatives. Voluntary dissolution where no creditors are affected. If the dissolution of a cooperative does not prejudice the rights of any creditor having a claim against it, the dissolution may be affected by a majority vote of the Board of Directors. Voluntary dissolution where creditors are affected. Where the dissolutions of a cooperative may prejudice the rights of any creditor, the petition for dissolution shall be filed with the authority. Involuntary dissolution. A cooperative may be dissolved by order of a competent court after due hearing on the grounds of first, violation of any law, regulations, or provisions of its bylaws, or second, insolvency. Chapter 8: Capital, Property, and Funds. Capital. The capitalization of cooperatives and the accounting procedures shall be governed by the provisions of these codes and the regulations which shall be issued. Capital sources. First, member share capital. Second, loans and borrowings including deposits. Third, revolving capital, which consists of the deferred payment of patronage refunds or interest on share capital. And fourth, subsidies, donations, legacies, grants, aids, and such other assistance from any local or foreign institution, whether public or private. Limitation on share capital holdings. No member of primary cooperative other than cooperative itself shall own or hold more than 10% of the share capital of the cooperative. Shares. The term share refers to a unit of capital in a primary cooperative, the par value of which may be fixed to any figure not more than 1,000 pesos. Fines. The bylaws of the cooperative may prescribe a fine on unpaid subscribed share capital. Annual audit. Cooperatives registered under this code shall be subject to an annual financial performance and social audit.
Hi sir, I'm Elton John Melension from SB 3B. My assigned topic is Chapter 10, 11, and 12. Chapter 10, the allocation and distribution of net surplus. Net surplus, notwithstanding the provision of existing laws, the net surplus of cooperatives shall be determined in accordance with the bylaws. Every cooperative shall determine its net surplus at the close of every fiscal year and at such other times as may be prescribed by the bylaws. Chapter 11, Agrarian Reform Cooperatives. Definition and purpose and agrarian reform cooperatives is 1. Organized by marginal farmers, majority of which are agrarian reform beneficiaries, for the purpose of developing an appropriate system of land development, land consolidation, or land management in areas covered by agrarian reform cooperative state. Land holdings like plantation, state, or haciendas acquired by the state for the benefit of the workers in accordance with the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, which shall be collectively owned by the worker beneficiaries under a cooperative set-up. Infrastructure in agrarian reform and resettlement areas. The government shall grant to agrarian reform cooperatives preferential treatment in the construction, maintenance, and management of roads, bridges, canals, wharves, ports, waterworks system, and other infrastructures with government fundings. List of public lands. The government may lease public lands to any agrarian reform cooperatives for a period not exceeding 25% years, subject to renewal for another 25 years only. Preferential right in agrarian reform areas. An agrarian reform cooperative shall have the preferential right in the grant of franchise and certificate of public convenience and necessity for the operation of public utilities and services. Organizations and registrations. Agrarian reform cooperatives may be organized and registered under the code only upon prior written verification by the DER to the effect that the same is needed and desired by beneficiaries. Chapter 12. Cooperative Banks. Supervision. The cooperative banks registered under the code shall be under the supervision of the BSP, and a cooperative bank shall primarily provide financial, banking, and credit services to cooperative organization and their members. A cooperative bank shall have a minimum paid-up capital in such amount as may be required by the BSP.
Good day everyone, my name is Lani Apchandan and I'm going to discuss chapter 13, so insurance cooperative. So cooperative societies, existing cooperatives may organize themselves into a cooperative insurance entity for the purpose of engaging in the business of insuring life and property of cooperatives and their members. So, the cooperative insurance society shall provide its constituting members different types of insurance coverage consisting of but not limited to, so life insurance with special group coverage, loan protection, retirement plans, endowment, motor vehicle coverage, bonding, crop and livestock protection, and equipment insurance. For chapter 15, we have credit cooperative. So, credit cooperative is a financial organizations owned and operated by its members with the following objectives. So, first is to encourage savings among its members. Second is to create a pool of such savings for which loans for productive or provident purpose may be granted to its members. So, and lastly is to provide related service to enable its members to maximize the benefit from such loans. For chapter 16, we have also financial service cooperative. So, the functions of credit cooperatives and other cooperatives, including multi-purpose cooperatives that provide savings and credit to their members, and other financial services subject to regulations by the BSP. For chapter 17, we have also electric cooperatives. So, electric cooperatives may undertake power generations utilizing renewable energy sources, including hybrid systems, acquisition and operations of transmission or distributions as its primary purposes. Lastly, any part of this code be declared unconstitutional, the validity of remaining provision hereof shall remain in full and effect.